when I first was introduced to this concept, it seemed, I couldn't really define the distinction. Someone told me intellectually, and I was like, oh, I get that, but what does that feel like? How do I know the difference between those things? And I think culturally, force is something that we're brought up to see as being like something really amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, always being taught about hard work and going to the end of the earth to get something done and bending over backwards to get to your success. Bending over backwards, think about just, let's think about that literally. That sounds awful.
That's painful.
There's not many things in life that I would actually bend over backwards in order to achieve. Like, it's not a nice thing. In my mind, anyway. And we're brought up with this culturally. So then I was most certainly. So then when I was introduced to these concepts, firstly I couldn't find a distinction, but also power kind of seemed a bit lazy as such. Because if we think we've got polarity versus pursuit. So pursuit is we go out there and chase it, and polarity is things, you know, come to us, so to speak. And I was brought up with this mentality, whereas if I'm not chasing it,
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Like, I remember a teacher who first introduced me to these concepts saying, when you are chasing money so rigidly, and I was working in the city at the time, had been for years, and that was the game I was playing. When you're chasing money rigidly, it's stressful, it's troublesome, and you have to keep chasing it. It's like by chasing it runs. So if you're playing the chasing game, that's what you're setting yourself up. You're setting yourself up a game of chasing. Whereas when you understand how to come from power, things just appear in your life that you need when you need them. And it's not to say, you know, you haven't paid the rent this month and someone knocks on your door and says, oh, there's a check for your rent. Like, not in that way, but an opportunity will open up where you are invited to do some work perhaps that you never thought you'd be invited to do because you're not qualified to do that job, for example. I have like 5 or 6 experiences of this where I've been asked to do things which are just amazing, and I'm like, I'm so unqualified to do this. In my mind, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But when I get there, it's amazingly successful, and I'm like, wow, that was incredible. Because I was brought something that I never would have even thought that I could go out there and seek. But by sitting in this state of power and exercising polarity instead of pursuits, the things just show up in your life. And of course, you have to be open and accepting to them, like when you're in this power state.
It makes me think of, you know, when you're a teenager and you want to get a girlfriend or a boyfriend. And you get really keen, and you're sort of like, oh, yeah, and everybody around you starts having a partner, and there's something people keep telling you, right? Parents, is the moment you stop looking for them is when you will find somebody. Yes. So it's something that we hear, we just don't necessarily relate to, and that's what it is, isn't it? It's that the chase is what's actually creating the non-happening of the thing.
Yeah.
But if you can relax enough about it and not be totally overwhelmed by the idea that you absolutely need this, that's when things come together.